Close your eyes and point precisely southeast, right now. Unless you happen to have a compass in your hand, you're probably hesitating. Place most of us in a featureless environment, and we lose our cardinal orientation in seconds. Yet a 5-year-old girl in Pormpuraaw, a small Aboriginal community on the western edge of Australia's Cape York, can point southeast without a second thought. She is perfectly oriented, all the time. For decades, linguists and cognitive scientists operated on a simple assumption. Language is a neutral container for universal human thoughts. The belief was that we all perceive the exact same world and merely use different acoustic labels to describe it. Modern cognitive research shows that the little girl's orientation is a learned linguistic requirement rather than a biological instinct. The language itself directs the attention. The language you speak acts as a hidden set of instructions, forcing you to attend to specific details of reality that speakers of other languages completely ignore. The Kuuk Thaayorre language, spoken in Pormpuraaw, completely lacks words like left and right. Every spatial description, no matter how small, relies on absolute cardinal directions. You don't have a bug on your left leg. You have an ant on your southwest leg. You can't even say hello properly unless you can report your exact heading. By forcing speakers to constantly calculate their absolute position just to hold a casual conversation, the language continually trains the brain. Human orientation turns out to be a highly adaptable cultural skill, built entirely by grammar. This training effect applies to the visual spectrum as well. In English, we use one broad word to cover all shades of blue. Russian speakers are required by their language to categorize the color into 2 distinct boxes, goluboy for light blue and sini for dark blue. When researchers track the brain activity of Russian speakers looking at colors shifting from light to dark, their brains register a distinct, measurable surprise reaction the exact moment the color crosses that linguistic boundary. For an English speaker, the brainwave remains entirely flat. Our most basic physical perceptions, from our place in space to the light hitting our retinas, are filtered through the vocabulary we learn as children. If the physical world is shaped by language, the invisible world is constructed by it. Try answering this riddle. If next Wednesday's meeting has been moved forward 2 days, what day is the meeting on now? This diagram illustrates the ego-moving schema. If you walk forward through time, the meeting is on Friday, moving toward the future. But in the time-moving schema, where time is a conveyor belt flowing toward you, forward means Monday. These spatial metaphors are so ingrained that English speakers unconsciously sway their bodies forward when talking about the future and lean backward for the past. Contrast this with the Kuuk Thaayorre, who don't lock time to the human body at all. They organize time based on the landscape, specifically east to west. If they face south, time goes left to right. If they face north, time goes right to left. Because time has no physical shape, we have to borrow spatial rules to make sense of it. The specific metaphors provided by our language become the primary way we organize our lives. This structural influence extends far beyond spatial puzzles. It shapes how we track social events, remember accidents, and assign guilt. English is a highly agentive language. We say, John broke the vase, even if it was an accident. When former Vice President Dick Cheney accidentally shot his friend while hunting, English allowed for some serious evasive gymnastics. George W. Bush described the event by saying Cheney heard a bird flush and he turned and pulled the trigger and saw his friend get wounded. In Spanish or Japanese, the grammar naturally shifts focus away from the agent during accidents. You would simply say, the vase broke itself. Psychologist Caitlin Fauci tested this by showing English, Spanish, and Japanese speakers videos of people accidentally popping balloons, followed by a surprise memory test. The English speakers, trained by their grammar to seek the agent, easily remembered exactly who popped the balloon. The Spanish and Japanese speakers remembered that it was an accident, but were significantly less likely to remember the specific person who did it. The structure of a mother tongue influences what a witness sees in a split second, affecting how we assign blame, how we determine intent, and apply legal punishment. The 7,000 languages spoken around the world represent 7,000 distinct cognitive toolkits. Each one encapsulates a worldview honed by our ancestors over thousands of years. Yet we are losing about 1 language a week. With every language that goes silent, an entire way of perceiving reality dies. This loss is compounded by a severe blind spot in our science. Almost everything we know about the human brain is based on studies of American English-speaking undergraduates. We have barely scratched the surface of human cognitive diversity. But language is a living tool. It is something we can learn, adapt, and change to suit our needs. The language you speak provides the scaffolding for your thoughts. By exploring how other cultures construct the world, you can begin to ask how you might perceive reality differently and what new perspectives you wish to create.